I wish to thank grace of heaven and the virtues of our masters, and as well as the predecessors for this opportunity to conduct the class about. Well, the exact title is in Chinese is 如何护持道场. Okay, or translated basically says how to shield and maintain Dao community. I guess that's a translation. Okay, so therefore, this class is essentially about how we can support and maintain this temple or technically the Dao community. Now, the Dao community, of course, includes temples also. So therefore, basically, it's just a lecture material that was provided by Lecture Tai from a different Dao group that I'm using, and so therefore most of it is really the same, except for the fact that it has some specific areas that they have different classes, etc. That's different, but still most of it's about the same. So anyway, this class basically you can still take notes and all that stuff. That's okay. But the idea is the fact that this class is really more of a generalization about how we can support the Dao community and the temples. Whether it's the home temples or even the like the larger temples or the public temples. Okay, so anyway, so I'll just begin. Okay, well, I need to scroll this a little bit lighter so this way it doesn't have to. Okay, all right. Okay, so first of all, the translation, well, I've translated most of the Chinese, so therefore, we sort of like have an idea of well, what we're talking about. Okay, so first of all, it's the fact that the Dao community is very much like our home. Okay, so therefore, it's something that we should protect and love, because after all, like a home, it is where we sort of like have your family members and everybody else together, and so therefore it's equivalent. It's essential that we also protect and love our home. Okay, the community is constantly flourishing and the wisdom lasting. It just means to say the fact that when we have developments in the community, okay, the Dao community, basically it allows us to be able to gather more people, or to have people come to this community, and so therefore it allows us to also to flourish in the sense that we can also have other events that can happen in the community, very much like sometimes we had like Dharma classes or other particular classes, and also we have like your we call it like the 5-year classes that we have from the from the beginning, the first year, to the last year, which is the 5th year. Okay. So anyway, so this is basically, it's just a introduction or a forward, equivalent to a forward about this this topic. Okay, and also when in the second half is to say that everyone has a responsibility to carry forward the past and open up to the future. It just means the fact that everybody in this Dao community basically has sort of like a innate responsibility to allow us to be able to progress, okay, and basically we'll call it open up to the future. So essentially we can also develop and advance. Okay, so this is sort of like the opening forward of this topic. Okay, now we can sort of like get into the nitty gritty of the topics. Okay. 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 The second item is basically to say that's to follow the holy teacher's aspirations and inherit the holy virtues and inherit the holy teacher's virtues. Okay, so it just means the fact that, you know, the whole idea of this Tao community, okay, essentially the establishment of this Tao community is really try to aspire to the holy teachers, specifically the 18th patriarch, matriarch. So, I guess their aspirations about our transmitting of this Tao, because after all, it is only through the 18th and 18th patriarch as well as the matriarch that we started the beginning of what we call the universal salvations of these three realms. You know, the realm of heaven, well, temporary heaven, the realm of earth, which is, you know, the mankind, so to speak, and then the realm of the underworld, okay, the spirits of the underworld. Okay, so anyway, so basically, what are the aspirations, or what we call the three great aspirations of the holy teacher? Okay, first of all, the one is to transform all sentient beings to return to their Buddha nature. Okay, so basically the same line as what Lecturer Liu in the past had talked about in his what we call the Buddha nature class, is to basically allow everyone to recognize their own Buddha nature. Okay, now I said I put the word parenthesis in there at the back, says their Buddha nature. It's because after all Buddha natures are the same. Okay, it does not, it's only different in terms of the individuals that we have. Okay, but technically the Buddha nature is the same as what God's Buddha nature or the holy teachers Buddha nature or all these saints and Buddhas in that matter. Okay, so all the Buddha nature is the same. So therefore it is to allow us to recognize the fact that we have a Buddha nature and to be in accordance with our Buddha nature when we act or conduct ourselves within this human realm. Okay, so the second line is basically to say, the second aspiration is to say, to reform the ways and manners of the people to improve the general tendencies of society. Okay, now that is basically to say the fact that we need to try to, I'll just again use the word reform to adjust the ways in which people think, so to speak, and also the things that they do, okay? And this way we can improve what we call the general tendency society, because after all, you know, we need to have a society in which that we can have, be, so to speak, be united, so to speak, and also be able to be beneficial to everybody else. Okay, because after all, you know, when we talk about the general tendencies of society, it really means the fact that society, first of all, does not know about Tao generally. Okay, and so therefore you must be able to try to transform them to be able to thinking as well as their thinking to allow them to be able to improve upon their own well-being and also the society as a whole. Okay, and then the last aspiration is basically to say to revive the people's inherent moral culture and also realize a world of world harmony. Okay, well, first of all, the second part is basically to say to realize the world of great harmony is basically one of the tenets of the great Tao. Is that because after all, in there's two sort of like tenets, so to speak. One is the world of great harmony, and the other one is also the allow us to it's called the Dao Zhi Zhong Zi. So that's the importance or essence of the Dao, so to speak. Okay, that's the interpretation of that. Okay, so the idea is the fact that we want to revive the people's inherent moral culture. Well, there was a sutra long ago that's written, and it's called the three word sutra. Technically it's 3 words, because it's each stanza is only has 3 words in it. Okay, so therefore, it's relatively long, but it's not that short. But still, it basically it has a first phrase that it is listed in the sutra. It's basically say 人之性本善. Right. Okay. So basically, it just means the fact that in the original nature that we have, the idea of goodness is the foremost. Okay, so therefore it comes down to is basically saying the fact that when other people think about other philosophies think about like human nature, so to speak, this one sort of like indicates the fact that yes, the humans humankind, or the people, okay, humans, therefore are basically good. Okay, whereas the other ones, we call it like there's a legalist philosophy in China long ago, like 2000 something years ago, where they talk about the fact that yes, the essence of human nature is bad. So that's the opposite, so to speak. Okay, so anyway, the idea is the fact that yeah, when we must try to revive the people's inherent moral culture is basically to let us know the fact that yes, people are basically good. Okay. The question is the fact that they are sort of like hindered, so to speak, by about the various we'll call it senses of the world. Okay. And so therefore these are the things that will allow us to do bad things, so to speak, do bad things, so to speak. Okay. And then the idea of the fact that the world of great harmony is the fact that that was done by Confucius, was to allow us to say the fact that when we can follow these dictates of these inherent goodness, okay, then we can realize a world of great harmony. Okay, so therefore, this will, it's basically to say the fact that when we go into detail about it, it basically comes down to about there's still different requirements of to get to that world of great harmony, so to speak. Okay, so let us continue. Okay. So basically, it says the fact that we should have selfless dedication to follow heaven's will as our own. Okay, and to cultivating the holy teacher's aspirations as our own, as well as bearing the worries and responsibilities of the holy teacher. Okay, so once we know about these, the holy teacher or the teacher's aspirations, teacher meaning patriarch and eventually matriarch, we should also follow the dictates, or I guess you could say have a selfless dedication to follow this this heaven's will, so to speak. We'll just call it heaven's will, okay, as our own, because after all, it is the mission that we want to accomplish in this world that will help us, that heaven will help for us to be able to accomplish the things that we want to do. Okay, and then cultivating the holy teacher's aspirations as our own is only because of the fact that we need to sort of like have the same aspiration and desire, I guess I'll call it that, to be able to aspire to what the holy teacher wishes to aspire to, and also at the same time, on the flip side, is to also bear the burdens or the worries and responsibilities of the holy teacher. So basically, we must also recognize, on the flip side, to recognize the fact that we have a great aspiration, but we also need to do something to be able to bear those burdens about what the holy teacher is also bearing. Okay, so therefore we also have to think about it carefully about fact that how we're going to do it and how we will do it. Okay. Oops, darn it. Okay. Let me put it on the top. Okay. All right. The second item basically is to say to promote the practice of the three treasure mind dharma, to practice the inner spirit and the outer king, to respect mandate, or what we call destiny. Okay. Respect the people, respect manners or people manners. Okay. Respect the Tao community, which is the community as a whole, and also to manifest the truth of the Tao. Okay, that's the principles of the Tao. Okay, the truth of the Tao principles, of course, and then finally the truth of heaven's mandate. Okay. So let me go back to that. Okay. So to promote the practice of the three treasures, heart, mind, dharma. Okay. And basically it just means the fact that, it is there is a book that's called the in Chinese because San Bao Xing Fa basically means the fact that it talking about the three treasures or the three precious things. Okay. And the Xing Fa is basically talking about the way in which that we conduct or do things to manifest these three precious things that we acquire. Okay, and so therefore it is. I mean, there is a book about that. It's called San Bao Xing Fa, but it's more like it's a relatively short book, but still, I haven't really read it all, and so therefore, yeah, eventually I will be able to, I don't know, finally get a better grasp of that. But still, the second part is basically to say the practice of inner saints and outer king. Well, the inner saint basically is our Buddha nature. That's what they're talking about. So therefore, if you can follow the Buddha nature that we have, and basically it means the fact that when we say the practice, basically that means the Buddha nature or the manifestation of the Buddha nature, and basically the what we call the outer king is basically our self, or physical self. Okay, so so we need to definitely be able to promote this I guess heart and mind dharma, so to speak. Okay, and also to be able to allow us to manifest all these things about this Buddha nature that we have, and therefore become according to the Buddha nature, and so therefore we can be able to conduct ourselves in a way that is according to our Buddha nature. Okay, and then of course the other phase is basically to say respect mandate or destiny. Okay, well, destiny mandate. Okay, the word tianming, that's in Chinese. Basically, one is mandate and the other one is destiny. Okay, it's basically they're talking about the same thing right now. Okay, and then also to respect people. Okay, and also people manners, so to speak, the manners of the people, and also to respect the Tao community and manifest the truth of the Tao, the true principles of the Tao, the truth of the principles of the Tao principles. Okay, and also to manifest the truth of heaven's mandate. Okay, so heaven's mandate particularly is what they sort of like are talking about in terms of this first term. Okay, at the beginning. Okay, so that's when, because after all, when we have what we call tianming, or basically means mandate or destiny, it really comprises of two things. The fact that we have a destiny or a ability to be able to live in this world, Okay, so therefore we have this, I guess, a mandate, so to speak, to be able to survive or grow up in this world, so to speak. But also, there's also talking about a mandate that's at the bottom of it when we talk about truth of heaven's mandate. Okay, so basically that's a little bit different. Okay, so it comes down to really the mandate that's considered a equivalent to sort of like a precept. Okay, so that you can get, so to speak. Okay, just as transmitters, have the ability to propagate or conduct the ceremony of the Tao blessing, and therefore, those transmitters are given that mandate from heaven by the holy teacher, and so therefore they have the ability to conduct those ceremonies. Okay, same thing is when we have a mandate to live, so to speak, to be able to survive in this world, this physical world. So therefore, we also can say that it's the same mandate or the 10 Ming. Okay. So anyway, this is just sort of like again a condensed version of what that lecturer was saying in this about this material that I'm reading. Okay, so let us continue then. Okay, so sorry. Okay, all right. Then the next lines basically say, to promote the grace of heaven and the virtues of our masters, the virtues and efforts or leadership, as well as the hardships of the grand predecessor, the predecessors, and to respect the masters. Okay, not to disobey the mandate without the mandate, and not to act arbitrarily. Okay, so basically they're talking about the fact that we need to also understand, okay, the grace that heaven has given us to be able to live in this world, number one, okay, and also to be able to respect the virtues of the masters, and also the efforts and leadership, as well as the hardships of the predecessors, grand predecessor, as well as the predecessor, and to respect the master. Master basically means equivalent to like saying, the transmitter, so to speak. But it also can be inclusive of all the people that have been with the predecessors and predecessors, okay, before, okay. And then, of course, we should not disobey the mandate that is within us, especially for our transmitters, to be able to promote the teachings of the Tao, and also when we don't have the mandate, okay, then of course we should not act arbitrarily, because after all, we like I said, there's a certain, I'll call it a precept, in a sense, the fact that when Buddha was still around, basically Lecturer Kai had talked about a lot about, when he was telling his disciples what they should do to continue on, as when the Buddha is leaving this world. Basically, he had mentioned the fact that the Buddha had said that, okay, you must first what? Respect the precepts. Okay, not to say, oh, you must respect a certain person, whatever. No. It's because after all, the precepts is something that's not arbitrarily. Okay, it's not arbitrary. So therefore, it is something that's defined. And so therefore, this way, it allows you to not be able to like go astray, so to speak, okay, from the teachings of the Buddha. Okay, so therefore, in that sense, we need to first obey the mandate, and also if we don't have the mandate, then of course we should respect that, and therefore not be able to act arbitrarily, in the sense of the fact that we can still do what we did when we had the mandate. Okay, all right. Okay, so basically these three items, A, B, and C, is first to know about the fact that, yeah, there are great aspirations about what the holy teachers have given us. And so therefore we should definitely follow in their steps, and to be able to practice that, and also to be able to conduct ourselves in the same way that we did, that the holy teacher had done, or excuse me, the 18th patriarch and matriarch had done when they were conducting or propagating the Tao. Okay, and basically items B and C is basically just to elaborate on the fact that, we must also know about the hardships that people had, had bear for, the time, in that times, okay, and in different times, of course. And so therefore we also must know the fact that, we like this mandate that we had at the beginning in part B, basically is to know the fact that, yes, we should also act accordingly based on what the status, what we have, so to speak, and also not act arbitrarily, based on, what we don't have. Okay, all right. Okay, number 3. Okay. Oh, wow, it's only half an hour. Okay. All right. Shield and sustain the predecessors, sustainable management, and lasting wisdom of the Tao community. Okay. Basically, to explain this line, basically it talks about like several items. Okay. One is the conceptual or ideal aspect. Okay. Understand and hold the philosophy of the predecessors and the importance and significance of each planning step or term. Okay. Like the importance of the sustainable operations concerning the future of all sentient beings. The Tao kin or community at the grassroots level can be considered as one. Combining with Tao community, we can build a cohesive and overall consensus. Okay. And that's good. Okay. So what we are talking about basically is the fact that, okay, each, I guess let's see, let me put it again. Okay. Yeah, this, okay. When we're talking about shielding and sustaining the predecessor, basically means the fact that we need to have a sustainable management to be able to sustain or protect them. Okay. And so therefore, it also, and lasting wisdom of the Tao community. Okay, that's a little bit difficult to understand, but it's important the fact that the Tao community will also progress, in a sense, the fact that we have we advance to a higher level, and so therefore this way that the wisdom that we had gained in this past will still be able to we can, I guess you could say, promote or further this wisdom that we have. Okay, all right. And so therefore to understand the hope, the philosophy, the predecessor, and importance and significance of each planning system, because after all, these the concept is the fact that we have a certain people that can do certain I'll call it planning. So okay, planning. Okay, and so therefore, in order to have these people that can do planning and all that stuff, then of course we need to have people who can sustain these operations. Okay, and so therefore, it is, after all, it is for the betterment of all sentient beings. So this way, when we can progress in that direction, so to speak, then we can hope to be able to sort of like transform all these sentient beings to be able to realize their own Buddha nature. Okay, so based on what I told about the first part, which is the aspirations of the holy teacher. Okay, and then in the sense of the Tao community, okay, basically one can say that, yeah, from the grassroots level, it's sort of like one, like that's one. just one person, or equivalent to like one person. Okay, but when you combine it with the Tao community by itself, which means everyone, so to speak, everyone together, then we can build a cohesive and overall consensus, only because of the fact that we were able to be able to make a decision, and so therefore to be able to carry on that particular item or whatever that we want to do, okay, or task to do. Okay. All right. Okay. And then second part is basically to strengthen our own sense of wisdom, to strengthen one's own sense of wisdom, mission, devote oneself to learning and training, humbly learn the skills to cultivate and handle things that we do, okay, and improve one's character, manifest the Tao through our own cultivation. Our cultivation is written incorrectly. Okay, through our own cultivation and learning. Okay, and then reduce the unpleasantness within the Tao community, staff personnel, and the temple, as its reputation should be considered. Okay, work together with all one heart and mind, united and cooperating to transform all sentient beings. Okay, so basically this item is basically talking about the fact that, yeah, once you have the sort of like a equivalent like a Tao center, so to speak, okay, then of course they can sort of like allow us to be able to learn and train about what they taught or teach us. Okay, so it's humbling to learn the skills to cultivate and improve and to handle. Okay, and improve one's character. Okay, because after all, that's one of the items that basically are very stressed in terms of Tao cultivation, is to be able to what? Change your habits and what? Reduce one's bad habits, so to speak. Okay, and therefore it allows us to what? Manifest the Tao through our cultivation and learning. Okay, so basically, because once we are improving ourselves, then this way it allows us to be able to what? Improve on other aspects of this learning about the Tao. Okay. And then, of course, the next line basically to say to reduce unpleasantness within the Tao community, staff personnel, and the temple, as its reputation. Reputation is also written incorrectly. As its reputation should be considered. Okay, because after all, when we are talking about the Tao community, of course, it includes temples, and whether it's home temples or public temples, after all. And so therefore, what we do or when we conduct ourselves, basically, if we don't manifest the Tao within us, so to speak, then therefore it can sort of like, I don't know, be a bad taste in terms of reputation, basically try to consider everything as much as you can about how we can reduce the unpleasantness within the Tao community, and the staff, personnel, and the temple. In the sense, the fact that we all have differences differences of opinion, so to speak, in terms of what we want to do and what we want to handle things. Okay, and so therefore we should at least try to that's the reason why we have a lot of discussions within ourselves and also other members, to be able to try to find ways in which that we can still have harmony, so to speak, to be able to do things. Okay, and so therefore it's important that we should try to consider all these things when we are trying to conduct ourselves in terms of manifesting the Tao. Okay, all right, and then of course work together with one heart and mind, and united and cooperating to transform all sentient beings. Okay, and basically it just means the fact that we should, because after all we have different hearts and minds, so therefore we need to what? So like I don't know, reduce the reduce any tensions or whatever to be able to allow us to be able to work together as a whole to be able to transform anything or do anything that we do, so to speak. Okay, to do anything that we need to do. Okay, whether it's transferring all sentient beings or transforming individuals or whatever. It's all basically the same. Okay, all right. Oops, darn it. Okay, I did too far. Okay, all right. Number 3 basically means respect the elderly and wise. One must return to the source when drinking water. And that's a very quote that's usually many times, so to speak. Okay, and be grateful and charitable. Okay, and then the spiritual target every year is to practice diligently and follow the teachings, recorded quotations, and accomplishments of the grand predecessors, being cautious in one's words and deeds, and being a role model for all cultivators. Okay, so I combined 3 and 4. Okay, basically it just means the fact that in case of the manifesting the Tao, basically it means the fact that what we also must definitely respect what the elderly people as well as the wise. Okay, now, you know, some people can be elderly but not necessarily wise, or some people can be wise but not necessarily elderly. Okay, so it just means the fact that for every people that we meet, so to speak, we should also respect everyone. Okay, not only whether it's young or old. Okay, just as the saying goes, you must remember the source when drinking the water itself. This basically means the fact that, yeah, we should always be, you should be grateful and charitable. Now, grateful just means the fact that, yes, we know our place within society in a sense, the fact that whether it's elderly or young, and basically we also must know the fact that, yeah, we have I guess a grateful attitude, so to speak, and also a charitable attitude in terms of the fact that, well, we can also be helpful, so to speak, okay, to be able to help others, whether it's in need, or to be grateful in the fact that we can learn something about from others. Okay, and then the whole idea of the spiritual target every year is to practice diligently and following the teaching is because of the fact that it talks about the grand predecessor that had just passed, that passed away, I think 1995. And basically, it just means the fact that, yeah, it's talk about really the spirit of what he has accomplished and also what he has taught to all the many Daokins that have visited him or know about him. Okay, so therefore, it is important the fact that we need to be able to practice diligently the teachings that we had learned. Okay, just as we have one of the 3 reflections about in the first year's class about what we should have I taught about have I learned no have I geez, what was the reflection is basically that you have what you call it done what you had no sorry you had basically allow you to be able to um okay, the teachings of the teacher, so to speak. Okay, and so therefore it is important that we also must be a role model because of what we had learned from these teachers, so to speak. And so therefore we become a role model in terms of for all the cultivators who are trying to cultivate, because after all, we need to sort of like be a role or be a model for those who are sort of like not as not as well cultivated, so to speak. Okay, so therefore we can try to become a role model for those that are not or still learning to become cultivators. Okay. All right. Oh gosh, I'm doing too slow. Okay. Okay, the inherent system. Now, this has basically this has something to do with the uh, the a different group that had done this class before, and so therefore I sort of like skip some certain items. Okay, first item basically what I call the inherent system. Basically, that's the stuff that we had sort of like developed or inherit from the previous past. Okay, and so therefore, in this case, the number one is basically collective leadership and overall drive for tasks. Okay, it just means the fact that, yeah, we need to be able to learn from the leadership. Okay, and so to be able to do the task that we need to do based on what the leadership had told us to do. Okay, and then I skipped the second part because after all, it is a different course that we don't have, so therefore I skipped that. The third one is basically say that okay, there is something called the 5-year advanced studies course, basically same thing like the 5-year course that we had, to be able to allow people to eventually become a speaker, a speaker or a lecturer to conduct classes in Dharma classes. Okay. And then, of course, there's another one that's different from the this particular group. Okay, so therefore I can skip that. Okay, and then of course they talk about the fact that they're sort of like, they say 10 groups that that people do that the tasks that 10 different groups has done. But in our currently we probably more than 10 groups based on the time frame, because after all, we have groups that are like, for example, the people who doing the classes. For a group that's like sometimes when we have Dharma classes, we have groups that are represented in terms of the group like um, the temple altar group, or the cooking group, or the hosting group, whatever. So therefore, there's a lot of groups that we have. But again, it basically comes down to like what the time frame is when they do these things. Okay, and then of course number 6 is basically we currently do not differ, but we may create various groups for national, regional regions, because after all, there are many home temples within the U.S. And basically, there are temples, home temples and also public temples on different states. And so therefore, it's possible that we may also create various groups to sort of like be able to conduct classes or or groups to be able to visit different temples, so to speak. Okay, whether it's basically it's all mainly for the national. Okay, all right, and then of course, mode of conduct or model code or standard. Okay, well, this basically just means the fact that we also have a system in which that, look, for example, in the Tao Center, basically they specify the fact that in order for you to attend the Sunday class, so to speak, that we had on Sundays, you need to wear your uniform, so to speak. Okay, and also for people that come in, attended classes and all that stuff, they sort of like have a model code or standard that we set up. Okay, so that's sort of like just I get an example of what we had done. Okay, and also when we cook lunch for the people, that the kitchen staff, so to speak, we also of course does vegetarian, of course. Okay, all right, okay, so okay. Oh wow, I'm running low on time. Okay, so therefore I'll probably just go through this group and then basically that's it. Okay, so basically the next item is basic consolidation of the Tao Center. Okay, it just means the fact that Happy Buddha Precious Temple is a pilgrimage site for visiting Tao Kin or the Tao community at home and abroad. Okay, there's also a hub when predecessors or transmitters can launch various missions. Okay, because after all, we can have people who can discuss about like a certain aspect about the mission to conduct, to different states, and so therefore we can also have these tasks that's involved from or taken from the Tao Center. Okay, it is the overall center or hub for planning and communications for various transmitters, lecturers, temple masters, and Tao kin or community, and everyone should commit ourselves to the Tao. Okay, basically it just means the fact that, once we have set up this center, so to speak, okay, then of course it is where all the communications from the Tao Center that will go through the various levels, okay, the various levels of the Tao community. And so therefore it allows us to be able to plan and also conduct these various tasks that we need to do. Okay. Okay, and then, okay, so everyone should commit ourselves to the Tao, because after all, together with one heart and mind, we walk in unison. Okay, to do our best to protect the sustainable operation and consolidation and pass the lasting inherence of the Tao Center. Everyone should be able to, okay, well, no, we don't want to talk about that later. Okay, so therefore, once we know about the fact that there is a Tao Center in which that we can rely on to get the leadership, okay, to learn from the leadership. So therefore, we need to be of one mind and heart to be able to do things collectively. And so therefore, we don't have any other people trying to do their own things, so to speak. Okay, so therefore, because after all, the whole idea of the Tao Center is to be able to have people discuss any differences, okay, and then to be able to work out a means to be able to, I guess I'll call it compromise to be able to do those tasks that we want to do. Okay, and also, of course, once we have the Tao Center, it's important the fact that we also should do our best to protect and to sustain the operation and consolidation, and be able to have what we call the lasting inherence. Okay, the inherent is basically the people. The need to be able to learn from all the past things that we had done, or the Tao Center had done. And so therefore, it's important that we should learn from that past, so to speak, and to not sort of like avoid, not to reduce the things that we don't want to do, so to speak. Okay, and so therefore, I'll just sign off on talk about the various different things about the Tao Center. Okay, first of all, in terms of what everyone should be able to do for the Tao Center is to, of course, offer mental and physical efforts concerning about the main temple. The main temple being equivalent to sort of like a public temple. Okay, not necessarily a home temple. Okay. To promote the main temple as a holy place to conduct the universal propagation of the white era, which is the period that we're in, and also to gather the sincerity and nourishment of the Tao community. Okay, so so basically what it's talking about is the fact that we need to sort of like offer we call it mental and physical efforts. Okay, it just means the fact that it is to try to be able to sustain this main temple. Okay, specifically, in this public temple, it's at the public temple called Happy Buddha Precious Temple. And so therefore, when we have other public temples, basically is to sustain also those other temples as well. Okay, and then in terms of promoting this temple as a holy place to conduct universal propagation is only because of the fact that, yes, we are now in the era of the universal salvation. So therefore, it is important that when we sort of like conduct these ceremonies for the blessing and all that stuff, so therefore it is to what? To gather, to sort of like gather the sincerity that we have and the nourishment of the Tao community that we have. Because after all, it is the people that's in the temple that is really providing the sincerity as well as the nourishment of this Tao, the Tao community as a whole. Okay. Okay. And then the second item basically means what? Offering manpower. Okay. So basically, it's actually perform dauntless deeds, participating in turns to take in taking turns at the main temple during holidays. Okay, receiving reception, examples that's receiving receptions, offerings, or temple cleaning, so to speak. Okay, in terms of taking Daokin on, well, that's just in certain areas of I don't know, I guess you can call it ancestor, because after all, when we in Taiwan, we have a lot more of those temples in Taiwan, and so therefore if you happen to go to Taiwan or whatever, you can visit these places that are sort of like people who volunteer to try to give you tours of course, to those temples. Okay, and then everything that's in parentheses basically something that sort of like not in the US, so to speak. It's only in Taiwan. Okay. The other ones can be a volunteer tour guide for the pilgrimage groups or the Bodhisattva pavilions to help the pilgrim groups to gain a deeper understanding of the characteristics and intentions of the Tao Center. Okay. So basically, it just means the fact that, yeah, for those people who are going abroad, so to speak, to Taiwan, specific to Taiwan or other places, sometimes you can basically have the manpower to be able to do all these things that we're talking about. Okay. Okay, and the third item is basically what? To donate financial resources. Basically, to give financially according to one's ability, sponsor and serve as a honorary temple person. Okay, well, honorary temple person is eventually equivalent to sort of like when we have assistant temple master or something like that. That we sort of like have a title, basically just to more like more like more based on financial aspects, to be able to give based on your own abilities to help that particular temple, or particular temple that specifically a public temple. Okay, and so therefore this way when we have a person that can help out in order to speak, basically it's saying that one person will benefit, a whole family will also benefit. 9 generations and 7 ancestors will also benefit even more. Okay, basically that's just a line just saying the fact that we also say when people contribute to whether it's financial or any other aspect, to we say, oh, your merits are unbound, you have unbound merit and all that stuff. Okay, well, that's just a way to say the fact that we are also we have also benefit from this ability to be able to provide. Okay, but also technically their own family can also benefit, as well as the 9 generations, 7 ancestors will even benefit as well, because after all, when we have the Tao, we help the Tao community, which includes all the temples and public and home, basically allows all these people to be able to what? To be able to benefit from, especially the 9 generations and 7 ancestors, because they allow to be able to come to the temple to listen to the classes that we have. Okay, and so therefore they will be able to gain a better insight about the style and also about how to cultivate themselves. Okay, so therefore this way, this part I will end because after all, I'm short on time. So therefore, I'll probably pick it up next week and hopefully be able to complete this particular topic. I thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters to be able to attend this class. And if I said anything wrong, please have the allowed have the lecturers or transmitters and lecturers to be able to correct me. Thank you very much.